Right. Hi, everyone. It's our final session of holidays.
Hello, hello. Is there an echo?
I don't hear an echo. It's good. It sounds good to me.
Okay, good. How's it going, Maggie?
Pretty good. It's been a busy day. We've been going since 10 a.m.
Are
So
you are you more excited for the holidays than ever?
I think so. Seeing like some people use like holiday like imagery in their sessions, and it kind of like makes me feel like it should be fall, but it's like 80,
Should have some snow outside already, right?
right? Yeah, but no, yeah, we're Tennessee, so no luck. How's hot in New York too?
I don't know. I've been inside all day. It's starting to chill a little bit. It's getting a little bit cooler. I can say that. So
Yeah,
it's not the sweltering hot of summer anymore, which is I'm very thankful for.
that is good. That is very good. I was talking with Tasia earlier today about the weather in Nashville for our
Yeah,
retreat. Our next rock retreat is going to be in Nashville. It's probably going to be like this high of 60.
very
Kind of,
nice.
yeah.
Perfect temperatures. I like it.
Yeah. All right. We are going to move to talking about actual things that you came here to hear. Ron's going to talk about MMM in a second here. We're just giving people a few minutes to trickle in here.
We got some stragglers, taking their time.
Yeah, we get it. It's been a long day. Let's see. All right, we're up to about 18. Ron, let me know when you want to kick it off.
Let's do it. Come on.
All
No
right.
time like the present, right?
All right, I'll pass the floor over to you. I'm going to jump
Awesome,
off stage
awesome.
here.
All right, it's just me now. So thanks, everybody. I'm Ron Jacobson, co-founder and CEO of Rockerbox, and we're going to talk a little bit today about holiday forecasting with Rockerbox's forecast product. Super excited to talk about it. We've been investing a lot here at Rockerbox for the past year in forecast, and super important heading into the holiday season, having some sense of where you expect your budget and your dollars to perform so you can plan correctly, allocate correctly, and try to drive the best end of year as possible. I'm going to start going through some slides here. So what is Forecast? Forecast is Rockerbox's marketing mix modeling product. Essentially, we're helping brands with a forward-looking look at their marketing, understanding what the impact of their next dollar is going to be on their business performance. Super important, especially as there's different kind of scopes in terms of what marketing is doing on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis. You have some of that daily in-platform optimization, some of that weekly budgeting, cross-channel optimization. You also have some of that monthly looking forward, quarterly looking forward. What's my budget going to be? And that's where forecast can be a great tool that we've seen Rockerbox customers leveraging to more efficiently understand where and how they're going to spend. Stepping back, I think it's important to kind of start with the basics a bit. We talk about this so much at Rockerbox that I forget at times that not everybody talks about it this much. So let's kind of give a bit of a foundation. What is marketing mix modeling? The way we think about it is that marketing mix modeling is a top-down approach to measuring performance. It uses statistical analysis to understand the impact of your marketing on some sort of dependent variable, but it's all aggregate in nature. So you're using aggregate data to make those essentially determinations. Generally looking at things like spend by channel, sometimes impressions by channel, against aggregate revenue or maybe sign up kind of aggregate conversion data. That's very different than the bottom-up approach to something like MTA, which starts from a user level path to conversion and aggregates all the data up. Similarly, there are other user level kind of ways of measuring marketing as well. Things like surveys, another great way to understand a user level, essentially how customers are potentially engaging with your company and your product. So two different approaches to marketing. One starts with aggregate data and works its way down. The other starts with user level data and aggregates its way up. We'll talk a little bit more in a couple slides about the benefits and pros and cons of these different approaches. We find customers are looking to these sorts of questions with a forecast MMM product. One is like that optimal level of spend. That makes total sense. Everybody wants to understand what should I be spending in a given channel. It's important to step back there and recognize that there are sometimes constraints. There's what should I be spending given my budget. There's what should I be spending to hit a certain ROI goal. What should I be spending to hit a certain ROAS goal. and even constraints in terms of like, am I willing to hit potentially diminishing returns, or do I want to stop right before that point? That lends itself pretty well to some of the next questions. Questions like, how much did marketing contribute to total sales? Big question we hear a lot of Rockerbox is marketers trying to understand the impact of baseline. So like, if you stop all your marketing tomorrow, you're still going to have some customers coming through. Understanding how much, what is kind of the scope of that baseline. Also one of the questions that our forecast product is able to help answer. Next question is, how should marketing allocate budget by channel to maximize their KPI? Similar to that first question a bit, but really understanding that diminishing return curve and where budget, essentially where should investment be happening. The last one is super important. It's around lift/diminishing returns. Again, like wanting to understand the notion of that next dollar I spend in a given channel, is it incremental or not? Am I hitting diminishing returns or not? And there are some clear outputs from our forecast product that can help answer those questions. So these are generally, again, why and how customers are coming to Rockerbox looking for our forecast product. So first one, we'll dive into marginal return curves. This is super helpful. And essentially what you're going to start to see here is on a per channel basis, curves showing at different levels of spend what the expected ROAS and what the expected revenue is. Essentially, we all know you can't just scale a channel infinitely with linear performance. Essentially, you get to a point where the next dollar spent is not equal to the last dollar spent. That's when you hit diminishing returns. That's when that channel is no longer incremental. And that's exactly what we aim to show with our forecast product with essentially these diminishing return curves. These are the sorts of questions that you can start to answer here. What will my ROAS be if I spend 20% more on Facebook? Pretty simple question. Essentially here you'd see this is spend in the x-axis. If you were to go up 20%, what would the ROAS be? What's the corresponding ROAS to that level of spend? Another one is if we want to hit a specific ROAS target, if that's really the main KPI we're thinking about optimizing our marketing towards, what is that optimal level of spend to hit that level of ROAS? So again, looking at that curve, try to understand that point. And lastly, am I hitting diminishing returns? Now, essentially, you can start to think about this as the more this curve is flat, the less incremental revenue you're getting for each dollar spent. Because essentially you're spending more dollars, but the revenue is not coming up accordingly. So lower in the curve when you're spending less, obviously more and more incremental. And as you scale on the channel, it's going to become more and more flat. So trying to find that optimal point is something that Rockerbox's forecast product is super helpful for, particularly starting to plan for the holidays. Mind you, this is done at that channel level. So Google, Facebook, paid social, linear TV, influencers, and sometimes down to the tactic level as well. So Google, we have non-brand search and PMAX. This is something worth knowing about an MMM approach to measurement. It's fundamentally going to be less granular in nature. So you're not going to be able to get down to that campaign level, creative level, ad group level that you are from a bottom-up approach to measurement. That's okay. That's sort of one of the foundational components of MMM by the very nature of it using aggregate data. It's just not really what you're going to get out of an MMM product. So understand that you're getting channel tactic level data. So that's the first thing you're getting with sort of a forecast kind of product. Next, you're going to be able to understand some sort of scenario planning or understanding different marketing budget worksheets. Here, we're trying to help you understand, okay, I now have my marginal response curves for each channel tactic level. What does that mean for a media plan? What does that mean for what I can and should be spending? Sorts of questions answer exactly that. What is the optimal spend levels across all my channels to maximize ROAS? How does my overall revenue change if I 2x my paid social spend? And here you're going to see Rockerbox actually recommending spend levels on a channel tactic level. Again, trying to find that level on the curve that maximizes your overall efficiency, essentially making sure that you're not investing into a channel when the subsequent investments are going to be diminishing in terms of the returns that you're achieving. This is the recommended budget. You can see in this example, it's a little bit small. We're going from $2,000 a day to $2,700 a day, roughly 30% increase in spend. There's a decent chance you don't have that budget, or there's a decent chance that one of those channel tactics, although we're recommending to increase the spend in it, maybe doesn't have the actual audience available for that spend to actually be executable. Classic example there is Facebook retargeting. There's a world where you're getting 100% share in front of your retargeting audience, and although we recommend, we think you should double that, there sadly might just not be enough users there. So although we're recommending it, making it super easy for you to actually cancel those recommendations, go back to what you're currently spending, or put in some sort of manual intermediary number between those two levels. Also trying to help understand if there's seasonality. Not all businesses have this, but if so, understanding what that baseline is and what the marketing component is on top of that baseline. Lastly, I think it's super important for there to be transparency in data. And this is something that we've valued from day one at Rockerbox. I always say this line, and it's kind of said in a glib way, but we don't care where you spend your marketing. We just want you to spend your dollars intelligently and in the places that are best for your business. And because of that, we have no reason not to be fully transparent. So we're going to show you predicted versus actuals. Other sections, we have features and feature correlations. So just trying to help give the companies and the marketers and the analysts that want the level of transparency access to that level of data. So that's the forecast product. Now, again, we find that a forecast offering is really helpful for looking forward, for setting budgets, for understanding where should I be spending my dollars in next week, next month, next quarter, next 6 months, depending on the company and how they think about budgeting. What happens once you come up with that budget? So imagine the conclusion is, you know what, I actually need to go back. I think I had this 2 slides before. Let's take this one right here. I need to increase my Google Performance Max from $1,000. Well, that's a decrease. I need to increase my non-brand search from 450 to 500. Anyway, so 10% or so increase. That determination of how am I actually going to make that happen, tactically, how am I going to get that 10% increase in spend is not really where MMM product is useful. And that's really where Rockerbox is optimized and MTA product becomes super, super valuable. A couple quarters back, we launched goals and recommendations specifically to this use case. Set a specific goal, target CPA, set a specific budget. That budget now comes from our forecast product. And instantly you can start to see where you actually recommended by Rockerbox to invest more. Where should you be decreasing spend? Where do you have insufficient data as well? So really having a full cycle between our forecasting and that, again, that cadence with your budget, quarterly, monthly, biannually, you name it. And then taking that output budget and making it very tactical so you can do the in-platform changes necessary to execute against that budget. The way that we think about this is there's a bit of a yin and yang with MMM and MTA, both in terms of the granularity. MMM is much more aggregate again in nature. MTA, you can get down to that full log level data. Mind you, there's also, by the way, a whole, we could also be talking about in-platform numbers themselves and how you optimize against them, because those are a signal that are valuable and actually should be used as well. Refresh cadence is very different. Usage cadence is going to be different, and the source of data is going to be very different. So again, just really trying to help understand what is that yin-yang between different methodologies. So how does this actually manifest towards next couple of months? Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all the way into end of year holidays, New Year's. How does it actually play out? How do we see customers leveraging this? First off, we want to figure out what the budget is. That's a critical first place to start, understanding what the budgeting is. And the first way you do that is by understanding which channels are incremental and where can I invest more. Once you understand which channels are incremental, where can I invest more, you can start to answer this question of what is the optimal budget allocation heading into Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Now, again, this is going to be a process that marketing can't work in a silo. You need to loop in finance, you need to loop in operations. I was literally just in a call with a company who was saying that although they have the incremental budget to spend, their operations team doesn't have the inventory to match against that spend level. So it's really teamwork is required, to put it simply, across all the different functions of your organization. So one, again, determine that November/Black Friday, Cyber Monday budget. This is, at least this little exercise is Black Friday, Cyber Monday focus, but we've got a lot of clients already starting to leverage this and think about this for end of year holidays as well. How do you do this? You go and start to look at the response curves for each of those different channels. Again, you want to find out what the ROAS goal you have for a specific channel tactic. You might have a different ROAS goal for Facebook non-brand search as you have, Google non-brand search as you have for Google brand search. Fair enough. You might have different target goals for Facebook prospecting versus Facebook retargeting. That's all good. Understanding those response curves can help you understand what level of spend is going to maximize your efficiency, which helps you determine your budget. Then you're going to run scenarios through forecast media plan functionality. You start with that default plan that Rockerbox recommends, and then you're able to make those adjustments. Because again, there's a world where Rockerbox comes, say, the output says increase your spend 30%. The budget's just not there. Fair enough. Then you want to work it back, rein it back in. Again, Rockerbox's media plan scenario planner does take into account the response curves. So that's going to be by default part of how we actually project revenue. But you might have to rein that in a little bit to match the budget that's available for you, or potentially even scale up. And that's sort of this process you go through to figure out what is the optimal scenario for the coming month, quarter, et cetera. And finally, leverage optimize to make day-to-day adjustments throughout November or December as well. I keep calling December because I was just talking earlier today with Trifecta, and a huge part of their business is actually the day after Thanksgiving. They say that everybody is not investing in healthy eatings on Thanksgiving. The next day they're spending a lot on food. So again, this can go through Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all the way through New Year's and beyond. So yeah, this is how we're starting to see clients leveraging Forecast, Rockerbox's MMM product for budgeting and planning for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all the way through the end of the year. I think that's all we have for today. So I'm going to stop for a second. I don't know if you have any Q&A or any questions coming in. But if not, I'll say thanks to, let me do a quick chat. I think Maggie might be hopping back in. No, thank you. There it is. On the dime. And Ashley.
Oh, well, we got a couple questions here. So first one I can answer. Yeah, we'll send out a hub with all the recordings from today, so you won't want you to miss anything. And that next one's for you there,
Ron. First question was recording. You just answer that. LTV to optimize instead of ROAS. Actually, we do. We are live with LTV as a KPI for a handful of customers. Our default one is ROAS. We want to have conversations around LTV and how you think about that to make sure that we can translate our forecast product to suit that correctly. But yeah, we can definitely have the conversation.
All right. Yeah, feel free to drop any others. If not, thank you for capping off Rockerbox holidays with us, the first ever Rockerbox holidays. And thanks to everyone who attended. And I think I've seen some familiar faces from other sessions. So thanks for being with us for all or part of the day, however long you were here. So I think that's it for us. We will send out that recap. Thank you, everyone, for your time. I want to thank all of the people who spoke today, but they're not all here, so I'll probably do that. But yeah, thank you guys so much. We love running these events and hope this was helpful to you, and we'll probably do this in the future.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Really enjoyed it. Have a good holidays.